Hi there, greetings and salutations. My name is Jake Query. That is Derek Schultz. Somehow or another, we somewhat again matched today. That's incredibly uncomfortable, although I think I might have nipples popping out.
Yeah, this one over, actually on my side,
I don't know what to do.
A little pronounced.
Is it cold? I mean, I don't know what.
It's not.
Is it because I'm shredded?
It was amazing yesterday. It was
great.
66 degrees yesterday, and then immediately came back. But I love it. I ever since moving to Indiana, you can set your watch to it. There is one random fluky, super warm February day, and I always soak it in. I go for a walk. Sometimes we go for ice cream. We play basketball in the driveway. The whole deal. Yeah.
The ice cream place just opens for a day?
Well, no. I mean, the ice cream places near our house are open all year, but sometimes we do.
Who goes for ice cream when it's like 10 degrees out?
Oh, I eat ice. I'm a year-round ice cream eater.
I can tell. I can tell when you wear that little snugglet.
Yeah, I do actually want to say I rewatched. I don't usually rewatch the show because I'm like, it's an A+ effort. Why would I need to rewatch it? I don't need to critique everything. I was perfect. I rewatched last week's show, and I thought you were overly hurtful. Your comments were overly pointed and hurtful to me.
In what way?
When I was in the wrestling singlet. I think you used the word fat 8 times.
Well, you look fat.
That seems to be a lot.
You looked fat.
That seems to be a lot. A wrestling singlet is the least, like, slimming type thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's very hard to squeeze yourself into it shows every imperfection. So, yes, I do have a little bit more than, certainly in high school, that I used to have around here. I'm the same. I've basically maintained the same weight for the last 10 years, within 3 to 5 pounds.
But you were wearing something that you wore when you were 18. Yeah,
so that was problematic. It was problematic to wear something like that. But obviously, like, my upper body is just, it's amazing. Sculpted, all of that. It's just kind of down here is where I've had some problem areas. But I wish you wouldn't point that out. I feel like I've always been encouraging to you on this show. Like, hey, you look nice today. You look handsome. That's a nice shirt or whatever else. I don't feel like I go out of my way to put you down.
Before we get to talking about Myles Turner and the Pacers out west,
Super Bowl.
Myles Turner not dressing, and trade deadline,
Fever,
Super Bowl,
what a week
Fever,
for the Fever, man,
and Indiana Purdue. Before we talk about all those things, and IU Indy, and something that was done fantastic in IU Indy men's and women's sport, accomplishing the same feat. Before we get to all of those things, let me just say this: I don't need. While I'm not saying I'm not appreciative of it, it's not generous of you. I don't need reassurance from you to let me know that I look good. I'm pretty aware of that.
I just mean, as a friend, you know, as two people who, I mean, I'll just say this. I don't always, share our friendship on the air or whatever. Last night, like, the last thing that I did, I was laying in bed. I was, getting ready for bed, and I was on the phone with you until 11:30. I said, all right, I'll see you tomorrow, because we were talking about just life.
Yeah, not really.
And things like that. And so, as somebody who was in his underwear talking to you on the phone before I went to bed, like, that's the level of friendship that we have. Yet, I don't always feel like it's reciprocated publicly. Like, I know how you feel about me privately.
I would like to point out that this was not a FaceTime call.
No, this was an audio call.
Yeah.
This was an audio call. But yeah, I mean, I was ready to turn down to bed. I brushed my teeth. I put my hair stuff in. Took my cholesterol medicine.
Hair stuff?
Yeah. I put in the hair stuff to keep what's left up here. It's like a
you go with the
what's that called?
Nioxin?
Not Rogaine, but like that active ingredient
Nioxin.
in there. Yeah. I put that in there every day.
And then you have a cholesterol med?
Yeah. My dad and the Schultz family genes are pretty awful. High LDLs, I think, is what it is.
Those genes you got on are pretty bad, too, by the way.
What are you talking about?
And it's a little passé.
What's passé about it?
Your genes.
Why?
It's not the...
You want me to get him baggier? I can't believe that look came. Sorry, we were like way off track to start today's show. Let me say one more thing. I just can't believe like the 90s pants look has come back, particularly for women. I just think it looks awful. I'm sure they're comfortable, which is great. Like, I just think
talking about the mom jeans?
The big, huge mom jeans, just they look terrible. It's just not a good look. Sorry.
I don't disagree.
It's just not.
The trade deadline for the NBA comes up on Thursday. Depending on when you are watching this, that means sometime in the next 36 hours. And the epicenter of rumor for the Indiana Pacers would be Myles Turner, who this seems to be an annual event. Every year it is rumored that Myles Turner is on his way to the Los Angeles Lakers.
Every year.
And I've told you on this show, I've told you on the radio show that that would stun me for a number of reasons. Number one, I think Myles Turner is very coveted by Indiana in what they do. I think Herb Simon, the owner of the Pacers, really likes Myles Turner as a player and as a guy. I think that the new minority ownership group of the Pacers is willing, if need be, to go over the cap into the luxury tax for the first time in nearly 20 years. I think there are a lot of signs that point to Myles Turner being retained and trying to re-sign in Indiana. However, the LA Lakers, by dealing Anthony Davis in the big trade with Luka Doncic, that opened up a rim protection need in Los Angeles, thus fueling speculation that Myles Turner would be that rim protecting player. Then you add in that he did not play last night in the Pacers' win in Utah to start out their road trip. I do expect that you will see him tonight in Portland, but certainly if he doesn't play in that game too, it will only further add speculation. It is my belief, Derek, that the only way that Myles Turner gets moved is if Myles Turner goes into Kevin Pritchard and Chad Buchanan's office and says, guys, here's the deal. My contract's up at the end of the year. I have zero interest in signing with Indiana. I don't think he's going to do that. If he does that, then you pretty much have to get something out of him so you don't let him walk for nothing. I don't think that happens. I think they don't trade him and then start putting forth efforts to re-sign him. I may be proven totally wrong in that, but that's where I believe things stand right now. Also, partially because what does LA have that the Pacers need back?
Yeah, that's fair. The trade rumors I've seen are the proposed trades, particularly from like the Lakers Twitterverse, have pretty much always been awful. And that goes back to, remember, like when Buddy Hield was still here? Yeah. It was all about, Buddy Hield and Myles Turner for like a second-round pick. Okay? Like, Pacers are saying no to that. I think, first off, I don't think Turner's getting moved. I think they're going to re-sign him at some point this summer. I think they're going to try to do that. And if they're willing to go into the tax, I think that's the move that you make. I think one thing that both parties have learned here, and it's been a very unique, to say the least, relationship between Myles Turner and the Pacers on both sides. Like, you've never really felt like Turner necessarily all the way was embracing it here and the Pacers were all the way embracing her. And I'm not saying that as a criticism on Turner, because I think to be constantly involved in trade rumors, these guys pay attention to what's going on. They could say that they don't. They do. But I think both of them at the end of the day keep coming to the realization that they're better with each other. Myles Turner is more valuable to the Pacers than he is to other teams. Correct. And Turner knows that I think I'm a better fit in this offense than I am. And Turner would fit other places, right? We've talked about that. That's what makes Turner such a coveted trade chip, is the fact that you can plug him in just about anywhere with his skill set and he can fit. He's not somebody that you have to shoehorn in if you're another team that needs his skill set. So I don't expect him to get traded. I think it sucks that we have to keep talking about this. And I think even though, like, last summer, if you would ask me, is this Myles Turner's last year in a Pacers uniform, I would have said yes. But I do think, especially with the injuries to Isaiah Jackson and James Wiseman, he has shown how valuable he really is to this team.
Derek, to your point, that's the other thing is, I was up late watching that game, so, I'm yawning here. If you look last night in Utah, we're taping this on Tuesday. If you look last night at Utah, Thomas Bryant's a good player. He hits some threes. He's a very high energy player, but he also he's so emotional that at times you got to kind of reel him back in. I mean, he's like an Energizer bunny at times. He is a very good situational player, but Thomas Bryant is not. If you are a team that
he's a bench guy,
Thomas Bryant is not your starting center.
No, and
if they were to trade Turner, they're going with only Bryant. That's literally their only center on the roster, unless you bring up Jahlil Okafor, which clearly they're not going to do, or they would have tried it by now. Your second and third string centers at the beginning of the year are both out for the year and have been out the entire time. That only further emphasizes the importance of Myles Turner. I would be stunned unless an offer was made that they absolutely could not refuse, or if Turner makes it very clear that he does not intend to stay with the franchise, I would be stunned if he's traded. But you know what? By the time this airs, maybe it comes out. Who knows?
Yeah, but let's, I know trade deadline season, we always have to talk about Turner. That's what we do every single year with the Pacers. Let's talk about where this team is because, Utah's bad, but the Pacers didn't have it last night. They didn't have Turner, and they just didn't have it. They did not play well. What did they shoot, like 3 of 30 from downtown? At least it felt like that. I know they made more than that. They have this crazy rally at the end. They're down 12 with 6 minutes left. They have this crazy rally, and they come through and they win. Now, they got a tough game tonight. We're taping this as the Portland game is about to go on, a tough Sega Baba in Portland.
No,
but overall,
Sega. Here's the thing, Derek. Second game of a back-to-back, right?
Yeah, Sega Baba.
Okay. My pen's not working.
I don't know what's so hard about it.
Second
Yeah,
game
Sega
of
Baba.
Of a back-to-back. Okay.
Sega Baba.
That goes out to SGOAB.
No. O. No, Of is like a qualifying word. Those little words like the and of and aren't usually included in acronyms.
Where's the E come from?
Second, SECOND.
No.
Game, GA. Back to back. Back, ba, BA. Back, ba,
Where's
BA.
the two?
Sega Baba. Again, qualifier world. To and words like that aren't usually included. Of are usually included in acronyms. Yeah. See, now you wasted all the time. We shortened it. So I didn't have to say second game of back-to-back, and you wasted all of that time by me explaining it again.
The Pacers tonight play a
Sega Baba.
A Segoa B2B.
That doesn't make any sense.
Segoa B2B.
No. That sounds like a second-round pick that you take a flyer on.
It does kind of, actually, right? With the second pick of the round 2 NBA draft, the Denver Nuggets select Segoa B2B from Herznia Bosnovia. Whatever, right?
Pacers are now 12-2 this year, so in the calendar year 2025. They're 18-5 since that Charlotte loss. Charlotte loss was the low point of the season when you were like, oh my God, like, is this not getting off the ground for the Pacers? They were 10-15 at that point. And they're playing like one of the best teams in the NBA since then. Do I think this team is as good as Boston or Oklahoma City or something? No. But they're putting themselves right back in the discussion like they were last year. And I think over the last 7-8 weeks, they've been a better version of last year's team.
They are very good. If you look at the East, okay, the Pacers have moved themselves into what, 4th in the East, right?
Yeah, and they're 2 games up with where we sit today.
So, but that means they are trailing behind Cleveland, Boston, New York. Now, in a 7-game, don't you feel like that? Boston to me is still a pretty formidable foe, just based on the talent they got going on. But Cleveland or New York, I like their chances as much as anybody, right?
Yeah, I think they can hang with those teams. Cleveland in particular, I know the record is gaudy. I don't look at them and think that there's some like unstoppable force.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, the Knicks are really good, but I think the Knicks and Pacers are around the same. The Pacers of the last 7-8 weeks are around the same level as where the Knicks have been. But like you look at some of the metrics, they're scoring 100. First off, the offense is really taken off. Remember at the beginning of the season, the offense went down and the defense stayed down, right? And that's why they were struggling because the offense was elite. Yeah, the offense was elite last year, but they're 4th in scoring in that stretch in the NBA, 120.5 points per game, 31 assists per game. Their net rating is 2nd in the NBA. I mean, they're playing really high level basketball, and I think the sign of a good team is. I get Utah stinks. The sign of a good team is that you don't have it, you're on the road, it's a tough trip out there, and you still find a way. And that's what the Pacers did last night.
Do you know that, like, I actually, we tape this in the morning. I actually kind of enjoy on Tuesdays getting up early. I don't usually get up early. But getting up early, kind of trying to tackle the day. The sun's coming up. It's nice, right?
Yeah.
It gives me a feeling. And then, and I'm energized. I'm invested. I'm into it. Then I get here and you start talking and I start yawning. And I can't stop yawning.
Yeah, that's odd. I think that's independent of me. I think it's hard whenever you have a day where you really have to work.
Can I get a big yawn here?
Yeah. I think whenever you have a day where you really have to work, it's a hard day for Jake. That's how I felt when you and I were together and I was like, oh boy, we've got a remote today and we've got 2 meetings and we got to tape 2 interviews. This is a day where Jake's really going to have to work. He's going to have to be here at least 6 or 7 hours. It's going to be a tough day.
Really?
Yeah.
What you mean? Like I was moody?
Get a little more. Well, you were always your permanent state is moody. I would say. Yeah. You just don't kind of know quite what you're gonna get. But on those days, I was always, So I was treated like your handler.
So more. There. Well, that's fair. More often than not.
And so I'm really.
Did you find me to be jovial, Jake, more often than not, or angry, Jake?
I think it was about an even split. The problem is that you never really knew what you were going to get. But I can tell you this, like the first 2 or 3 minutes that I interacted with you of the day, 90% of the time I could tell what kind of day you were having. First 2 or 3 minutes. So walk into the studio, hey, man, how's it going? First 2 or 3 minutes. And sometimes it wouldn't even be a verbal thing. Sometimes I just see you come in to the studio, and I know what kind of day you're having.
You know, one thing that I think about when we did the radio show together is, I think about like when we were really at the peak of it, the prime of it, and going into that building and walking through in the sales area and seeing all the different salespeople and joking with them, or just shooting the breeze with them, or catching up on, what's going on or what's on the horizon. And 25, 30 people in that building that all, we're all kind of family with one another. We all know each other pretty well. And then to think about the fact that, like, it's all gone. It's all gone.
And it's been gone. Yeah.
I mean, not just the two of us. Like, there's just nobody works there anymore.
Yeah, it's a tough business.
It's just all robots.
Not going to get into the weeds here, but there were some managerial decisions that were made about which branch was overseeing which branch that never made any sense, and there was somebody at the top of a branch who was overseeing our branch that was only worried about their branch.
Correct.
And so, without getting into specifics,
that's fair.
That kind of that started the process, or expedited the process of getting that place.
But back to sports, by the way. The Pacers looking good, Derek. The Fever deciding that they're going to make over their roster a little bit, and all of a sudden, bada boom, they've got the best player in the WNBA, but now they might have one of the best teams as well.
Yeah, I mean, wow. With the moves that they made, not only did you bring in established players, you brought in championship-level ones, right?
And they have, 5 All-Stars now? 5 who have been on an All-Star?
Yeah, I think that's right. Natasha Howard, 3-time champ, 2-time All-Star, former Defensive Player of the Year, bringing her back to Indiana for a second stint, a veteran player who's won at a high level. DeWanna Bonner's a great player. She might end up being, when it's all said and done, like a Hall of Fame level player.
Right.
Like she's I think a 6 or 7-time All-Star, won a couple of championships. She spent the last couple of seasons with Steph White in Connecticut, so I'm sure that was a motivation to coming over. Besides playing with Caitlin Clark, a career 15-6 level player, and then and Sophie Cunningham, who I think can be a good bench piece if that's what you want to do. Maybe a spot starter as well. Is a great shooter, 37% 3-point shooter. Also, Vince, apparently, I was walking into a conversation, has a huge crush on her.
Really?
10.5 points per game.
On who?
Sophie. Yeah.
Somebody else told me she's attractive. Shouldn't be a factor in
I
sports,
don't know if I want to go there, but yeah.
Nalissa Smith on her way out in the trade, and Grace Berger, the former Indiana star.
Yeah, which is tough to see. I mean, there was no room. I understand IU fans are upset about it. I know Gritty and Matthew, who listen to this show, are big IU women's basketball fans. There was no room at the end. I'm hopeful that she'll get her opportunity elsewhere and take advantage of it. I just think it was one of those situations where the roster crunch in the WNBA, man, it's tough. There's not 30 teams in that league, Jake. There's not 32 teams in that league.
Right.
I mean, you talk about the elite of the elite. There are a lot of players who hit the cutting room floor in the WNBA who are WNBA level players. That has nothing. You getting cut has nothing to do with how good you are. It's the toughest professional league in America to play in. When you consider that there just aren't a lot of spots for everybody. Nalissa Smith she fell out of the rotation. She didn't fit anymore. It's too bad things never materialized for her. She was such a great player at Baylor, and the number 2 pick in that draft, where I think it was felt like who's the top pick in that draft? Why can't I remember? It feels like forever ago. It feels like it was kind of a 1A, 1B situation with. I'll look it up. Whoever the other top, the actual top pick in that draft was. But I think the Fever felt like they were getting a franchise level player, and it just never really materialized for her. And I think by the end of last season, it was time for those two to part ways. So I'm not surprised by that move at all.
What year are we looking here? WNBA?
It would have been 21. It was before Aaliyah Boston. Maybe it was 22 then.
Had to be somebody from Connecticut, right?
I don't know.
Who was your guess? I've got it right here. Who was your guess?
I'm trying to think of who it was.
I've got it right here. Who's your guess?
Was it Collier from Texas?
Yes.
And then Nalissa Smith went number 2?
No. You must have her year wrong.
No, Nalissa Smith went number 2 overall in the draft.
Not that year.
Okay. So we have the wrong draft then.
Can you get your stuff together before we start doing
Well, there were some bad picks that the Fever had. I mean, that was still like the Tamika era, and they made a bunch of bad draft picks, so maybe that was that one. I think Nalissa Smith was the first Lynn Dunn draft pick, if I have my time right.
Nalissa Smith was the 2nd overall pick in the 2022 WNBA draft. With the first pick in the 2022 NBA draft, the Atlanta Dream select
Howard.
Ryan Howard from the University of Kentucky.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's been a much better player than Nalissa Smith. I mean, she's a multi-time All-Star and all of that. But yeah, I think I love to see teams go for it, which we don't always see in this town. And I understand that there are circumstances in this town that are different from like the New York teams or the LA teams of the big markets and things like that. But to see the Fever really go for it and not even be like, well, it's only year 2 for Caitlin Clark. We're still going to sell out every game. We don't have to go all the way in. And to go all the way in like this is crazy.
Speaking of going for it, 2 teams will be doing exactly that when it comes to the Super Bowl, Derek. And Indiana and Purdue went for it over the course of the weekend on Friday to kick things off. So there's still plenty to talk about here over the course of this show, right?
Yeah. You want to go ahead and do our Hoagie and Hero of the Week? You mentioned IU and Purdue. So I guess we can do that.
This looks fabulous. What is
this here is the Dutch country.
I had Hoagies and Hops on Sunday. I could have picked up for you, but I decided not to. Went in and had a Zaire. Fabulous.
You're still just a one sandwich wonder there?
I love it there, man.
Yeah?
Zaire's fabulous.
I mean, I know we eat a lot of the different ones here on the show, but you should really kind of expand. Not that the Zaire isn't good. You should really expand your horizons there. The Seitzer's Bologna, right? So it's like a smoked salam. Like a smoked salam. Really, really good from PA. LT. Little Munster.
Lettuce, tomato.
Little 9-grain beer mustard.
That beer mustard.
From our friends at Chili Water Brewing. No frills. No frills. Just like this. It's tough. It's handsome.
Yeah.
You can make it hot if you want to.
Tough, handsome, hot on this side. No frills on this side.
Really good.
How about the Phillyapolis?
Love this one. And the Phillyapolis celebrating 6 years in Midtown.
Boy, this is great.
So, Chili Water Tap Room, who you see on your screen there, and Hoagies and Hops celebrated their 6-year anniversary on, I think it was February 1st. I think it was Saturday.
This looks like a birthday cake.
So 6-year anniversary in Butler, Tarkington, Midtown.
Look at that.
42nd and Boulevard. And they made this delicious Phillyapolis beer to honor that.
It's got the chocolate hint to it.
Really good. Alexis of Chili Water and one of the brewmasters there at Chili Water, and Donnie, the KM, the kitchen manager at Hoagies and Hops, did a really funny, like Laverne and Shirley Wayne's World take on making the Phillyapolis beer. If you want to check that out on their Instagram account. Chocolate Blonde Ale, the Phillyapolis, are really, really good. This is like a good wintry beer, too, like the chocolate notes.
It's very good.
We know about Chili Water's summer beer selection, but I think this is a good, like, wintry, like, very early spring beer. Hero of the Week. I think that was a decent amount. I chose Trey Kaufman-Renn.
Good game.
I think Braden Smith has gotten the proper amount of credit. He was if I remember right, he was the preseason Big Ten Player of the Year, right? Losing Zach Edey meant a front court player, was going to have to step into that role and be the focal point of the offense. I mean, Braden Smith is good. He's a great player, and he's crucial to what Purdue does. But he just has a different role in the sense that he's not necessarily like the crucial, critical scorer of the offense. He can score, and he can pick that up when he has to, but he's like the facilitator and the team leader and all of that. Kaufman-Renn, the offense is built around him. I mean, he's become that focal point. He battled through foul trouble for most of the night. He had a couple of moving screens that, whatever. Yeah, they're fouls. Do you call that in a Big Ten basketball rivalry game? I mean, I don't know. I think they were looking to kind of even up the foul total there in the second half. But a huge go-ahead basket at a jump hook where he got pushed way out. I mean, Oumar Ballo did everything right on that play. He got pushed way out, and he still made it. Saved the night for Purdue. I mean, I thought it was a C plus level performance from Purdue, whereas I thought it was an A performance from Indiana.
Did play well,
and you still ended up finding a way.
I would give you that Purdue. I'll give it higher than a C plus, and I'll tell you why. Because Indiana came out and had two different runs in that game where they got themselves like into a 7-10 point lead area, and had a chance to really kind of take control. And Purdue not once but twice had to come back, overcome that, and then go from there. And obviously down the stretch, Purdue made the plays that Indiana did not. But it would be easy to come on here and pick apart Indiana's performance. I thought Indiana actually was, when you overall look at it, It's a loss, yes, and it's a rivalry loss, and Indiana is running out of time to pick up quality wins.
Yeah.
But that game was at least somewhat encouraging, if you could say that, about a loss at Purdue.
They don't have time for more victories.
Yeah.
They don't, and it's a rivalry game, and you want to win, even though winning at Mackey is one of the toughest places to win. I think what's problematic, Jake, is that as good as they played, you have the lead with 30 seconds left, just like you did against Maryland, and you lose. And the final offensive sequence was, again, discombobulated and bad. Myles Rice was awful. He had just an awful game. And you'd rather have the ball in anyone else's hands other than him. I mean, if Gabe Cupps was healthy, I'd rather have it in Gabe Cupps' hands. And I don't think he's a Big Ten level player. And Myles Rice.
Isn't he transferring, by the way?
Who knows?
What do you mean, who knows? You dismissed that quickly like you don't care.
Yeah, I don't care.
About Gabe Cupps?
Yeah.
What do you have against Gabe Cupps?
Nothing. I don't.
LeBron tweeted about him.
Yeah, I heard about how good he was, and then and he got pushed into a tough situation last year. But you saw him on the floor; he had like no business. They played him because they had to, but he had no business starting Big Ten basketball games last year. Like it's completely in over his head. But Rice, Rice, who has been good at times this season, is a gifted athlete and all of that. I mean, I think he was trying to make up for the Maryland game because the Maryland game. Woodson needed to just let that play on and have Rice just go right to the basket, right? I think that was the play because Maryland was kind of scrambling. At the end of the Purdue game, I think actually taking the timeout would have been the right thing to do, and it's tough because we're armchair quarterbacking this, right? Because we saw how the sequence played out, but you wanted to draw some. Trey Galloway was getting to the basket so easily, and they couldn't handle Ball. I know Ballo's stats don't overwhelm you. But his presence dominated that game for Indiana offensively. And they couldn't get the ball to Mbako. I mean, they couldn't get the ball to any of their guys that were really cooking that night because Rice just kind of took it upon himself.
Let me read to you the direct message that someone sent to Myles Rice after that game. Okay?
Oh, God.
That he posted.
Yeah.
You blank, 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 blank. 4 straight. I'm Myles Rice. My teammates worked so hard to get this game close, and I'm going to play hero ball with 10 seconds left in hopes I make this game all about me. You blankety blank, painting your nails and making TikToks. This isn't blanking Washington State, you blank. People actually give a blank about the product you're helping build. Literally go hang yourself. I hope you never smile again, you blankety blank. You know how many people care about IU basketball? Your selfish ass can't comprehend team play. 0 points, and you say, damn, I got to make a bucket. Not the blank in time with 10 seconds left, you selfish blank. Go kill yourself and kill anybody you love, you worthless piece of blank. Yeah. That right there is the exact reason why people laugh at Indiana basketball. Not even laugh at, but are incredulous about it. And if you want to know why coaches and players, and I'm not saying that sort of an exchange doesn't take place everywhere, it does. This is the result of a couple of things. Gambling apps, people feeling like they have an invested interest and ownership over players, but more so now with NIL. You have players that are going to schools that are taking big checks to do it, checks that are facilitated not by a big corporation or an imaginary place in the sky, but directly by alumni who want desperately to be part of a program, so they write directly checks to players, then feel like they have an invested interest in what that player does, that it happen to be like in the exact like of what the person wants. And so as a result of that kind of thing right there is the kind of stuff, and I'm not saying it doesn't happen everywhere, but I think it happens probably in Indiana more than most places. That's the exact reason why people say Indiana has a toxic fan base that drives away coaching candidates and potential recruits.
It's sad. I mean, most of the Indiana fans I know are reasonable
people
who would never send something like that.
But those others do exist.
It's sad. It's sad that, he has to face that, or these guys, just because now they're making money, I think the accountability level has gone up,
Correct.
Right? Because people expect results because these are paid players now, unlike 10, 20 years ago. Again, I'm going to sound like a broken record here, Jake. Indiana still has everything in front of them, but they have to actually start winning some of these games. You can't just keep losing. You have to find a way. I think they got to split this week. They got Wisconsin tonight, which is a place where they haven't won since before Y2K. And then they have Michigan at home on Saturday. And I think to make this season salvageable, you at least have to split those two. Probably the Michigan game at home, because I never expect Indiana to go to Wisconsin and win ever.
If you get blown out at Wisconsin, sorry,
I think it's over. Really good. Yeah. You think that's the last stand?
Derek, if they get blown out at Wisconsin and they come back and they have a home game, and the coach and you already have students and fans that are chanting for Mike Woodson to be fired. And now they come home having lost like 6 of 7, coming off a blowout. A loss to their rival, albeit I agreed with you. I mean, I thought they showed progress there. But if they revert back to getting blown out and they get blown out at Wisconsin and then come home and in particular get down early to Michigan, who's being coached by a former Indiana manager from Greene County, an hour outside of Bloomington, and Dusty May, who's been to a Final Four, and Mike Woodson, who is, the embattled Mike Woodson, that's a real ugly situation.
Yeah.
They got to beat Wisconsin.
Yeah. There is still a possibility for this thing to turn around. There's just no reason to think that it will. That's where I've been with Indiana for weeks. Can they turn it around? Sure. Will they? I don't know. Does anybody think they will?
Have you ever seen that meme? I think I'm using that right. Maybe it's a GIF, Jeff. The little video of the guy on the mountainside, the mountainside road, and he's in a cart and he's trying to U-turn it.
Yeah.
And the road's this wide, and the cars,
Or Austin Powers, the one where he's backing up the little tram or whatever.
That's the turnaround that Indiana's got to do to get themselves tournament eligible. I still have food in my mouth.
Meanwhile, little bit. Purdue's right in the thick of the Big Ten race now because Michigan State finally took a loss this past week. But a little bit of a tricky week. They've got Iowa tonight. We're taping this on Tuesday. And then USC at home. USC's a tough – USC, of the Big Ten teams, I've watched USC the least. But they just beat Michigan State.
But they're starting to play a little bit, right?
It looks like they're starting to kind of be on the come up a little bit. So that could be a tricky game. And then Purdue's got a really tough stretch to finish where it's like at Illinois, they got to play Michigan State. They've got the return game at Michigan. They got to go at Bloomington, which I think this game – shows that Indiana could cause a lot of matchup problems for Purdue.
I have a friend, by the way, that was on a recruiting visit to USC for basketball.
Yeah.
Many, many moons ago. And,
did we?
Huh? I'm not saying any names.
Okay. I know all your friends.
Harold Miner was his host.
Yeah, Baby Jordan.
So they went to a party right off campus, and they were midway through the party, and there was a drive-by. He's like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to come to USC.
Yeah. It's not particularly a great neighborhood, I've heard.
At that time, USC was not a great basketball program.
Yeah.
But they've gotten some players lately.
Yeah, they have.
The Mobleys have come through there, and Baby Jordan was great, man.
Yeah, what a fun dunk contest that was. That was like at the peak of my NBA viewership. Harold Miner and all that. He was the next big thing, and then he faded basically immediately. We come back on the show. We're going to talk Super Bowl LIX, which is 59.
Look there.
59. What are you doing?
It's Super Bowl LIX.
Ew. Don't do that.
They should have the Rolling Stones playing at halftime, right?
I don't like the sound of that. Don't do that anymore. We'll talk football when we come back.
Do you know how excited that makes people?
Presented by Bailey & Wood Financial Group here on the ISC Sports Network.
It's my moneymaker.
I don't want to finish my sandwich now.
It's okay.
Tonight.
You know we cover all sports in Central Indiana. Hop in. It's going to be a long night.
Bailey & Wood Mortgage Lender, proud partner of News 8 Sports Hummer.
Hey, AC!
Nice snap.
Mortgage is a snap. Duh!
Bailey & Wood, a lending hand for Wish TV Sports.
Welcome back to the show. This is Corey and Schultz, presented by Bailey & Wood Financial Group here on the ISC Sports Network. Who's Bailey & Wood Financial Group, you ask? Well, you shouldn't ask that because everybody already knows. BAWFG.com, 855-350-HOME. They are your Indiana mortgage lender. So if you're looking to get
my Bailey & Wood hat?
Pre-approval, I don't know. Did we not put the
Somebody
hat out?
stole it. You keep talking about it.
Yeah, Vince was too busy talking about girls to arrange the table properly, but what are you going to do? You have to walk right in front of the camera? It was right in my shot.
Nobody cares. They don't want to see you.
If you look to get pre-approval for your mortgage, Bailey & Wood Financial Group can go ahead and do that for you. If you're looking to refi, Bailey & Wood Financial Group can do that for you. Any of the lending services, Bailey & Wood Financial Group will help you out with their many Indiana branch locations and their staunch commitment to the communities that they serve. It's worth your business to throw at Bailey & Wood Financial Group. 5-star customer service. Mike Wood, Bailey, Walker, the whole Wood family, the entire Bailey & Wood. team
That's the best.
will knock it out of the park for
This
you.
is very
And we
upsetting.
really very much appreciate them being a presenting sponsor here of Query and Schultz.
A hat for you.
Thank you.
Hat for me.
Yeah, sorry, that wasn't a me thing. That was a Vince thing. I had put in talk about the Super Bowl because it's a Super Bowl. I'll just be totally honest with you, Jake. And I don't know how you're handling it on your radio show. Like this game, it's the Super Bowl, right? So yeah, am I going to watch? Of course. This matchup just does nothing for me. I'm not one of those people that is anti-Chiefs. I'm still kind of pro-Chiefs, to be totally honest with you. I root for them. I was rooting for Buffalo for the storyline. But
sure.
more often than not, I still root for Kansas City. I still like Mahomes. I still sort of like Travis Kelce. I love Taylor Swift.
Excuse me?
Yeah, you heard me. So
This is a new revelation. I didn't know about this.
my wife Ashley's become a Swiftie.
Really?
Yeah. So Taylor Swift's like a big part of our household now.
You don't know a single song by her.
It's just on all the time. Oh, I know all of her songs.
Give me one.
Shake it off. Shake it off. Uh-oh. Haters gonna hate. Players gonna play. I'm just gonna shake it off.
That's like her one, isn't that?
No,
like
she's got a lot of transcendent songs. She's had like 50 number one hits, I think. Yeah.
She's wealthy, right?
Yeah.
Like she's.
Karma is a cat purring on my lap because it loves me. Floating like a goddamn acrobat. Me and Karma
Can we
vibe like
watch
that.
the language, please?
Oh, yeah, I guess I can't. GD I shouldn't say on the show, right? We'll get that in post. 3, 2, 1. Yeah. Karma's my boyfriend.
These
Karma is
sunglasses.
the breeze in my hair on the weekend.
Bailey and Wood sunglasses are pretty nice, man.
Yeah, they are nice. So I have no problem with the Chiefs, but I understand the apathy. We just do this with dynasty teams. You had really prophesized this with the Warriors. Remember, like when we were still doing the radio show, we saw the Warriors rise.
Right.
And at that time, it was like, oh my God, you got to watch this Steph Curry. It's amazing. And Draymond Green and Klay Thompson, they're shooting threes all the time. It's so fun to watch. And then I don't know when it turned, but it turned.
Right.
Right. I think a lot of it had to do with Draymond Green became like the least likable player in the league, which was part of it. And it's turning around for the Chiefs because I think of the referee thing that we talked about last week. Like people have it in their heads that these games are rigged, and the Chiefs are taking advantage of it.
There were some very questionable calls.
Yeah,
for sure.
but
Derek, I think, listen, part of it's this, and I've said this many a time, so bear with me, but I truly believe this. When maybe it's just me, but it's the power of the subliminal. Okay, like there's subliminal advertising. You know, you see those stories about like during the previews and the general cinemas back in the day, and there would be like little like you didn't even realize about like Coca-Cola, like the word would like flash across the screen, whatever. There's a subliminal advertising about certain NFL franchises. And it's not by intention, but the Philadelphia Eagles, the New York Giants, the New York Jets, the New England Patriots, the Washington Commanders, the Bears, those franchises, at no fault of theirs because of where they play, more often than not, if they are good franchises and they're playing in the late game in October, November, December, more often than not, they are playing as it's getting dark outside and you're sitting on your couch on a Sunday knowing that tomorrow the world returns back to normal for you. And you're looking at those teams and it's drizzly, gray, rainy, and depressing.
Yeah.
And so those franchises represent to people. I don't think that they represent like the sleek, fun nature of, you know, the Miami Dolphins, the LA Rams, the LA Chargers, you know, the Denver Broncos. When you think of those teams, you think of them like playing in the sun and da-da-da. And like it just doesn't have the drab nature. I think there is an element of people get worn down by those franchises because that's what you associate it with.
And they're mega markets and they're
they
in
are.
prime time all the
and
time.
And like the Eagles, I think just the Eagles have been a good franchise, you know, a really good franchise for 15, 20 years. They've been a regular Super Bowl contender all the way back to Donovan McNabb when they had Andy Reid and whatever else. But like, I think people are just kind of like, and the fan base of the Eagles has prided itself on being as boorishly obnoxious, borderline, you know, against the law forever. And I think people, unless you're a fan of them, are tired of it.
Yeah, it's. Tell me if you agree with this. It's the Ohio State of the NFL. The only people that like the Eagles are people that are from PA, Philly, or South Jersey.
But now, having said that, they're obviously totally loyal and fun. And I'm talking about if you're going to a game in Philly, not Hoagies and Hops, where their viewing party is going to be outstanding. I was just there.
Yeah, we love our friends at Hoagies.
Right, but I mean, but I was there, and they were like, "Oh my gosh!" And I was thinking about good. I'm glad the Eagles won because that's great business for Christina and everybody.
Yeah,
there,
they have
right?
a big Super Bowl party.
But when you go to a game at Philly in the vet, like not the vet now, but Lincoln Financial, whatever it's called, there is the fan base there takes pride in being as non-hospitable as possible. This is boorish after a while.
There is the label that they have, I think, probably rightfully earned. Obviously, bad apples don't make up the whole bunch, right? Of being that way. But I think it's kind of a defensive, gritty fan base, just like Ohio State.
It's a Rust Belt fan base.
Yeah,
yes.
and so I just don't. I don't think, and I'm trying to set my personal dislike. I grew up a Giants fan, so obviously I disliked the Eagles, and I'm trying to be objective in looking at them. But to me, it's just one of those franchises that it just doesn't feel appealing to people that aren't a fan of the franchise. Like, I don't think like some Titans fan is going to be like, unless you really hate the Chiefs, is going to be like, oh yeah, I want to see the Eagles win. I don't know, maybe for Saquon, maybe you really like Jalen Hurts. I mean, they have some fun individual players. I'll give them that, but the franchise itself and the fan base, swaths of the fan base, not the Eagles fans that we know and love at Hoagies and Hops, are difficult to connect with, I think.
My friends from Australia went to a game in Philly and said that they're a bunch of yabos.
Is that a word for something?
It means like young drunken hooligans.
Okay.
Yobos.
No NFL team has ever won 3 straight Super Bowls. How about this one? Eagles are looking to become the 15th NFL franchise with multiple Super Bowl wins. 15 NFL teams have won multiple Super Bowls.
All right, let me guess them. You ready?
No, do you know what I want you to guess?
Okay.
I want you to guess the one-time winners. Eagles are one of the one-time winners. There are only 5 one-time winners. I want you to guess the other 4. Everyone else that has won a Super Bowl has won multiple Super Bowls.
So there are 5 franchises
that have just won one. I mean, one of them is obvious. It's one of the most famous Super Bowl winners ever.
Now, hold on. Seattle.
Well, that's the most recent, yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean,
but not the most famous.
Seattle has won 1. New Orleans.
Yeah. Drew Brees beat the Colts.
Okay.
There you go.
2.
Yeah, you're doing well. Actually, these are 2 of the most famous Super Bowl winners ever that are the other 2 one-time winners.
Hold on.
One a legendary team and one a legendary moment, Super Bowl moment.
I'm trying to think. There's one franchise that I'm thinking of that I think only won 1. No, they've won 2 now.
Okay.
Hold on. So I could just go through the division. People are yelling at their screens, I realize. Or yelling.
Come on. The most obvious one is the one that you're missing. A legendary franchise. Not franchise. Legendary team.
Bears.
Yeah. 85 Bears.
Did you
One
say
more.
You said the Eagles, right?
Yeah, Eagles are one of them.
So there's
one
I'm
left.
I'm losing one.
One left.
Missing one. Is this a franchise that if I got reassigned to this market, would I be happy?
Yeah, you love this city.
Huh?
Yeah, you love this city. And your significant other loves this city.
Well, she's from Denver.
Yeah, Denver's won more than 1 Super Bowl.
Yes.
Yeah.
At
At least I think she does.
the New York Jets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jets. Famous Super Bowl, the Joe Namath call.
That's it, huh?
And they have not been back to the Super Bowl since.
Fair enough.
What's so interesting, Jake, is that, well, actually, no. The Saints and Jets have only actually been to 1 Super Bowl, right?
Now, if I'm not mistaken, that would mean
Whereas
that
the Bears have been to 2.
There are at least 2 cities. No, there are 2 cities that the city has only won 1 Super Bowl, right? Indianapolis.
Yeah.
And there's probably more here. Los Angeles.
That has only won 1 Super Bowl?
Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Haven't the Rams just won the 1?
Well, you meant current teams.
So then St. Louis would be another one.
Yeah, because 99 for St. Louis.
Because the Rams have won multiple, but they only won 1 in L.A. and 1 in St. Louis, right?
Well, Chicago only won 1, right?
I'm saying cities that...
Raiders were in L.A. in 83.
Oh, the Raiders. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good call on that. But I don't know. I found that interesting that, 15 NFL franchises have won more than 1, and only 5 have won 1. It just and no three-peats. You got to go back to the Packers won the last NFL championship and the first 2 Super Bowls. That was the last three-peat, but that's not 3 straight Super Bowls. I don't know why the NFL doesn't. The NFL is not interested in recognizing NFL championships at all.
Hold on. Here's where I'm confused. So if there are 15 franchises that have won multiple Super Bowls and 5 that have won only one.
Sorry, there are 14. The Eagles are trying to be the 15th.
Okay.
Yeah.
But even still, how many teams are in the NFL?
32.
So you're telling me there's 12 that have never won a Super Bowl? That's not right. Isn't there like 5 that's never won a Super Bowl?
Yeah. Maybe I do have that wrong somehow.
Wait,
hold on. Wait, yeah.
Well,
no. Of the teams that have won a Super Bowl, wait, yeah.
Okay.
Wait, Jaguars, Titans,
okay.
Texans,
Yep.
Bills have never won a Super Bowl. Browns have never won a Super Bowl.
Lions
have never won a Super Bowl.
Okay.
But still, that's only 6.
Who are we missing?
That's only 6.
Cardinals
have never won a Super Bowl. Falcons?
Did you say Panthers? I guess that's right then, yeah.
Yeah.
Panthers, Falcons.
Panthers,
yeah.
there's 9.
All right.
I'm sure we're missing somebody else that I'm not thinking of, but that's 9. So 15.
Okay, yeah.
15, 5, 9, and we'll call it a rounding error for the rest of it.
Vikings?
Yeah, Vikings never want to say. There you go. Yeah, all right. See, we're cooking. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
We are cooking. We're not even looking at the crying. We're just doing this. That's up here, guys. That's up here. That has nothing to do. Rake's typing it in because he's an encyclopedia over there. I'm not cheating. I'm not looking at my cheat sheet. Who do you like? We have to do Super Bowl predictions because it's a sports show, so you got to pick the Super Bowl, I guess.
It's the final 2 minutes. It's hanging in the balance. And the best offensive player in the game comes out on the field. They got to go 80 yards, and you're like, here we go. I know exactly what's going to happen. I knew all week this was going to happen.
Saquon long touchdown run?
And the Philadelphia Eagles win the Super Bowl.
I knew you were going with
Kansas
that.
City Chiefs are denied. Philadelphia wins 27-24.
I picked against the Chiefs in every playoff game last year. I thought Buffalo was going to beat them this year. I thought Baltimore was going to beat them. I'm not picking against the Chiefs again. I'm just not going to do it. Can they get beat? Sure. I'm not going to be the one that makes that pick. Chiefs win. Chiefs win because they just keep winning.
You're right.
Over and over
It's
and
hard
over.
to argue that.
Yeah,
It's hard to argue
28-23.
We got a Jags report to get to, right?
We do. We got some other things to get to, including quick hits as well, and a new old sponsor on the show, returning just in time for March Madness and the college hoop season really heating up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We'll talk about that next. Corey and Schultz. Presented by Bailey Wood Financial Group, ISC Sports Network.
A 5-star customer service. But at our core, we're a family. Family owned and family to our customers, staff, and our community. From charity events to recognizing hometown heroes, we prioritize giving back to our communities that have always supported our growth. So let us help you get your dream home today.
Hi there, welcome back. The name of the show is Query and Schultz. You notice that does not include anything having to do with Triumph, right?
I mean, I'll just say Greg Mash, who is the Grand Poobah here at ISC Sports Network, came in, was all excited about Triumph.
No,
thank you for all the tweets, the messages, the emails. I got a phone call about it. Triumph's return was celebrated loudly and proudly.
Derek,
loudly and proudly.
We have professional people that inexplicably watch this program. Scott Swan, who we think the world of, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's not a nicer, more like down-to-earth, faith-rooted, kind individual and professional broadcaster. Oh, God, here we go. I can tell right there.
Are we doing it again?
No, we're not.
What's this one?
Is this your competitor?
Oh, wait, hold on. This is
Armadillo.
Hear what he
Travis
says.
Roscoe. Now, I heard through the tumbleweeds that some chump named Drake Triumph is claiming to be the new sheriff in town.
Can you guys hear
I
this?
seem to be the only one holding the belt, which means I'm the only one holding the badge. Now, you see, the only Triumph I ever heard of was a puppet. You a puppet, Brohemoth? Because if so, I'll stick my hand so far up your keister, you'll be singing Yankee Doodle Dandy all the way back to Connecticut.
Is that a tattoo?
So you mess with the bowl and sometimes you get the cattle rancher. Now I'm tougher than a $2 steak, Kemosabe, and you're all had no cattle. You may have a hankering to run with the bison, but you best keep your boots on the porch. I want to clear one more thing up here, look at it split. The next time you call my home, Indiana no place, there's gonna be no place for you to hide. You better keep your head on a swivel,
really
boy.
good.
You may end up shiny side up, you know what I'm saying? Now you get along, little doggy, because when I get to kicking, you're gonna have a tough time keeping those little britches in the saddle.
Well, wow.
Derek. That is a real wrestling champion. Instead of this
Yeah,
backyard,
like,
16-year-old Connecticut throwback embarrassing people, Scott Swan, who's the greatest broadcaster in Indiana, is kindly saying that he thought it was funny because he was embarrassed for you. And then you see a real effort there. That was real production.
Yeah.
That was real talent. That was real ass-kicking right there.
I will say, I mean, are we really going to compare ring names, Drake Triumph and Indiana Armadillo? I mean, I appreciate Sean's gimmick right there. That's our buddy Sean Walker.
No, that's not. That's
well, yeah.
Dillo.
I didn't know he was all inked up though. Good for him. That was a really good gimmick, and that was a great stand up.
Here's the only problem that I have
Drake
with
Triumph.
Okay,
or
Derek.
a slow moving animal that gets run over all the time on Texas highways.
Here's the thing. This is the problem with the Indiana Armadillo, and I respect the tenacity there. Right? Armadillos carry leprosy. So do you know how easy it would be to body slam the Indiana Armadillo and just watch his arm fall off? No pinning there. How's he going to come back?
They have arms, right? Armadillos.
They have like little legs.
They don't like
but they have,
slide on the ground.
But they got
or something?
leprosy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm not familiar with armadillos that much. Look,
appendages are falling off in the middle of the match.
I mean, we're getting to the point where other people are sending me their gimmick. Like Steven, our listener on Twitter, sent me a challenge as well. Sent Triumph a challenge, which I relayed to Triumph. But the thing about Triumph is that he's retired.
Derek, no. See, this is of course right. You get one challenge. From a guy that's got leprosy, and you just go wallowing away.
Well, the last thing I want to do is
little hole.
The last thing Triumph wants to do is physically harm a listener, a viewer, or a friend, and that's what would happen. So I don't want to put them in a position to do that. But I think it's great that people are celebrating it and having fun with it. That's what it's all about. If you are interested in Triumph appearing at your event, shoot me an email, derek@QuarrierandSchultz.com. We can talk about pricing and all of that because I do. Triumph does come out of retirement if the price is right, but free stuff and things like that, and fighting slow-moving Texas animals that get run over all the time. If there's a check involved, then yeah, Triumph will come back for that. I'm just speaking for him as his representative.
Do you know how many times Drake Triumph wrestled a girl?
That was not Drake Triumph. That was crappy
and
high school wrestler
do you know how many
Derek
wins
Schultz.
the girl got?
Yeah, Lindsey Perlman. Yeah.
It is time, by the way, for the IU Indy Mercifully, the IU Indy Jags Report, brought to you by IU Indy. Again, Derek and I were out of the jungle, watched them. It was fabulous. IUIndyJags.com/tickets. You want to talk about entertainment? You're right there. You're in the natatorium. You're in downtown Indianapolis. You're seeing Division I athletes and men's, women's basketball, swimming. We've got swimming to get to, and why would they not be world class when it comes to the swimming at IU Indy, considering they're the natatorium where you've had Olympic trials take place and great swimmers and divers that have come through there. A lot to love about IU Indy athletics. We will begin with women's hoops. Did have, admittedly, a tough stretch. They lost to Milwaukee by 4, 66-62 over the course of the last week. But Katie Davidson had 24. They then lost to Green Bay on Sunday. They are this week at Wright State. That game is on Wednesday. And then their pink-out game, Sunday, 2 o'clock in the jungle. We would love to see you there, IUIndyJags.com/tickets. You see the pink shoes right there, by the way. Pink-out game Sunday at 2 o'clock. Men's side of thing, men's basketball. They lost to Robert Morris, but had a big bounce-back game at Youngstown. Got a win there. Deshaun Good had 21. Paul Zelenskis, who has been great for them all year, had 20. Good, by the way, was named the Horizon League Player of the Week for the third time. Congratulations right there as you see a 3 going down for the Jags. Wednesday, by the way, they're in the jungle taking on Milwaukee. So Wednesday, that would be tomorrow night, IUIndyJags.com/tickets is where you can get your ticket information. And finally, for Senior Day, how about this, Derek? In men's and women's swimming, they had Butler and Wabash at the natatorium, both of them picking up wins, meaning both the men's and women's swim clubs are 9-0. They are off to unbeaten starts. They will be back in the natatorium February 19th through the 22nd for the Horizon League Championships. You will hear us talking plenty about that between now and then, but undefeated on both sides of things. And why wouldn't they be? They swim at the greatest facility in the country, the IU Natatorium for IU Indy. And again, that is right across the hall from the Jungle, where you can see men's and women's Division I college basketball.
While we're on the topic, you know what league IU Indy plays in, right? The Horizon.
The Horizon, that's right.
And our friends at the Horizon are back part of the show once again here for the stretch run of
Love
the
it.
college basketball season. Of course, their tournament is right here in the great city of Indianapolis, and tickets are on sale now. So make your plans to be in Indy March 10th or 11th. For the 2025 Barbasol Horizon League Basketball Championships. I use Barbasol, as you can see. I shave my face. I don't use it on my chest, but I'm a proud Barbasol user. There are other places where I use that too. After you get all the insights from us here on the program, you can visit horizonleague.com/Indy. You got to keep yourself nice and smooth and trim for championships information, including game tickets and all new Horizon League individual membership. Also stops like razor burn and things like that. I feel like Barbasol is, I don't know if you're a Barbasol user at all.
Barbasol's great.
Fans can become Horizon League members,
League
receive a unique Indy-centric shirt, Horizon League glassware, championship tickets, and much more. Remember, March starts here in Indy at Cordova Coliseum at the Indiana State Fairgrounds, March 10th and March 11th.
I love it because you have fan bases that are all within driving distance, right? Yeah. So you get Milwaukee fans there, and you get Green Bay fans there, and Youngstown.
We hung with some of them, yeah.
It's great, yeah. Everybody has fun. They do a great job with a little fan fest there where you can do different things. Yeah,
that shows up as well. Shop.horizonleague.org as well for your school's release of Horizon League co-branded merchandise. So fun takes on T-shirts and things like that if you go to the shop channels. And obviously you can follow them on social media as well with the Horizon League. But we're happy to have Sean and Julie and the whole Horizon crew back on the show again, and hopefully they
Sean's
appreciate
been good to us.
me.
Julie's been good to us.
I love Barbasol. Oh, and Corey and Schultz on site March 10th. Okay, great. I was wondering about that because Rick sent me an email. Hey, Horizon League is back, and I was like, are we doing our show again? I was worried they would be like, no, we don't want to do your show, but of course they want to do our show. I'll lather up and bring some Barbasol.
I do like Barbasol.
Should I do that? And should I wear the wrestling singlet?
You know, you can get, Derek,
and do the Barbasol? Is that inappropriate?
Yes. You can get a little, and I have one, a Barbasol can warmer.
Yeah.
So that then
I know, it's nice. The warm lather. It's nice.
Buddy.
Yeah, I agree. Very quick hits. I had planned to carve out some more time for Luka, but I wasn't expecting to get challenged by the Indiana Armadillo, which ate up some time. That Luka trade, crazy. It took me by surprise, just like anything else.
Lateral movement doesn't make any team better.
I think Anthony Davis, it might be a better fit in the short term, right? For Dallas, you're still trading a generational player who's 25. I don't care about his weight. I don't care about the issues. He's been a top 5 player in the NBA.
It allows them to transition.
In the league.
The Lakers have always had a superstar, right?
Yeah.
They went from, you can go all the way down the line, right? You went from Wilt to Kareem to Magic to Shaq to Kobe to LeBron, all the way down the line, right? And I'm sure I'm forgetting some. This allows them to transition into having again a face of the franchise superstar.
I think there are only like 3 players in the league that you pick up the phone and you say, we're trading Luka, that they say no. And that's the Thunder with SGA, the Spurs with Wemby, and I think the Bucks with Giannis. I think pretty much anybody else says yes.
That's probably true.
That's how good he is. Royal Rumble smashes records in Indy. 70,000 at Lucas Oil Stadium. No surprise there. Largest crowd in the event's 37-year history. Triple H said the event is the highest-grossing Rumble in history. 3rd largest gate, which is the money made off of tickets ever for the WWE, and the largest single-night event in promotion history, which is crazy.
Jim Irsay is just sitting back.
SummerSlam, according to Mickey Shue of the IBJ, they're hoping to secure SummerSlam for either 27 or 29, and then Mania for 2032, which would be the final year of the deal with Indiana Sports Corps. But congrats to our friends at the Sports Corps as well, man. They knock it out of the park with this. It's such an easy fit and a natural fit to have the WWE here. We come back on the show, Chateau Kitchen's Bite or Bob Leap, and we'll wrap this thing up. It's Corey and Schultz, ISC Sports Network.
Which games are we going to tonight?
You know we cover all sports in Central Indiana. Hop in, it's going to be a long night.
Bailey and Wood Mortgage Lender, proud partner of News 8 Sports Hummer.
Hey, AC!
Nice snap.
Mortgage is a snap! Duh!
Bailey and Wood, a lending hand for Wish TV Sports.
Welcome back. Final time. Bailey and Wood presents Corey and Schultz, ISC Sports Network. Chateau Kitchens. Instagram, Facebook, before and after pictures. Transformations in your home. Anything inside your walls. Basements, kitchens, bathrooms. A wet bar, a den, sitting room, whatever else. You need it. Chateau Kitchens can do it for you and transform your home like they've done mine with my guest bathroom, my kitchen, and my basement. And you guys have seen me come out of the shower several times in all three of those rooms, so you know how good it looks. Chateau Kitchens can take care of you at chateaukitchens.com. Give them a call. Steven, Ryan, Megan, the rest of the team, all the Ryans. They've got multiple Ryans over there that are really great at what they do at Chateau Kitchens. First statement, Jake. Buy it or bold believe. Chiefs should be recognized as the greatest dynasty in the Super Bowl era with a win on Sunday.
I mean, I guess they will because nobody else has won 3 straight.
And they also would have gone to 4 out of 5.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty hard to argue.
I mean, what it is the Steelers? I still think the 70s Steelers is the greatest NFL dynasty, Super Bowl era dynasty.
It's hard to argue. It's hard to argue the Patriots because of the longevity with which they did it and the rotation of supporting cast.
There was a big break. The Patriots was almost like it was 2 separate three-peats.
That's fair, yeah.
Essentially, right? Where you had the first run, and then they went to a couple more Super Bowls in between there, but they weren't winning. They went 7 or 8 years without winning one, and then they won one again, and then 2 years later they won one, and then 2 years later they won one. So yeah, longevity-wise, I would argue the Patriots too. But I think if we're talking like the traditional sense of the term of a dynasty, like a 5-6 season run, to me it's still Pittsburgh, unless Kansas City wins. So yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and buy it. IU will miss the tournament outright. Buy it or bold believe?
Buy it. They're running out of time to get quality wins, Derek.
Yeah. Can they make the tournament? Sure. Do they look like a high seed in the NIT right now? Yeah, they do.
Okay, I got one for you.
Yeah, go.
The Super Bowl MVP will be somebody who himself does not carry the ball across the goal line.
Yeah, I'm going to buy it.
Okay.
Even though that's tough because it's very likely that Hurts or Mahomes would score a rushing touchdown.
Right.
But there are a lot of really good receivers in this game.
And
too.
defensive players. I mean,
and defensive players in this game. Yeah. Ooh, that's a tough one. Maybe I'll say bold bleep on that. Maybe the smarter play is to say, Saquon or Mahomes. I'm sure if you did it out, it would be Mahomes, Saquon, and then Hurts. 1, 2, 3, right? So those are your 3 favorites. I haven't looked at it for Super Bowl MVP odds.
They will. So someone will call tails. They will win with tails and then defer.
Yes, tails never fails.
Yeah.
And a lot of teams defer. That's what they always do. Thanks to our fantastic sponsors on this show, Chateau Kitchens, our friends at Hoagies and
Actually,
Hops.
no, they'll call tails and it'll be heads.
And the Chili Water Tap Room.
Team defers.
Welcome back to the Horizon League. And proud members of the Horizon League, the IU Indy Jaguars. Thanks to Luke Basso and the rest of the crew, as always, for their support of the show. And, of course, our friends at Bailey and Wood Financial Group as well.
Watch the Super Bowl at Hoagies and Hops because it's going to be a party. I guarantee you it will be a party, and you'll love it.
Going to be a lot of fun. Rake is in for me next week. I'm off to the desert. Going to Phoenix. Going to warm up a little bit. But for Jake,
you know what you might see
Derek.
there? Armadillos.
We will see you next time here on Corey and Schultz. They don't want to mess with me.
Yeah, okay.
ISC Sports Network.
At Bailey and Wood, we pride ourselves on our 5-star customer service. But at our core, we're a family. Family owned, and family to our customers, staff, and our community. From charity events to recognizing hometown heroes, we prioritize giving back to our communities that have always supported our growth. So let us help you get your dream home today.